been quite a year for soldier-turned-songwriter James Blunt. His hit song, You're Beautiful, made him an overnight sensation at home in Britain. Now he's achieved perhaps the hardest feat of all. Malika Kapoor looks at how he swapped his rifle for a guitar and sang his way into the hearts of the US public. In just 7 weeks, a 24-year-old musician has gone from webcam wannabe to rock star wonder. Jim Golden reports on a phenomenon that only the internet could make possible.
It's the worst attack in Iraq this year. A truck bombs exploded in Baghdad, killing at least 121 people and injuring more than 200 others. The suicide bombing happened at a busy market in a mainly Shiite area in the centre of the capital. As Dominic Hughes reports.
This is BBC World, the headlines. President Bush has announced more stringent financial sanctions against the government of Sudan for its failure to end violence in Darfur. Sudan says they are unfair and untimely. 5 British citizens have been kidnapped in central Baghdad from inside the Ministry of Finance building. The US military has also reported the deaths of 10 of its soldiers, making May the worst month for American fatalities for 2.5 years. Umaru Yar'Adua has been sworn in as Nigeria's new president, marking the first handover between 2 elected leaders in its history. But observers say the elections which brought him to power were deeply flawed. And a Dutch reality game show to be aired on Friday has provoked widespread outrage. The Big Donor Show will see a terminally ill woman select a recipient for one of her healthy kidneys. The programme makers say it will highlight a shortage of donors. You can get full details on all those stories on bbcnews.com.
Libya has been under intense international pressure to free those 6 foreign medical workers. While the Libyan Supreme Court upheld the death sentences on Wednesday, the verdict may not be the final word. The Supreme Judicial Council, which has the power to uphold, commute or overturn the sentences, will consider the case Monday. Relitza Vasilova reports.
Hello there. He represented one of the original members of what the US called the Coalition of the Willing in Iraq. He's now, presumably, lying in a hospital bed recovering from an attempt on his life. This man, Poland's ambassador to Iraq, his name is Edward Peterzik, was targeted in a triple bombing in Baghdad, which left a bodyguard and a civilian dead, and the ambassador with 20% burns to his body. Puts a cloud over Warsaw's already diminished presence in Iraq, a presence which the people of Poland, well, they were never really that keen on in the first place. We'll look at the story from the ground in Iraq, and we'll have analysis from Washington after the controversial private security firm Blackwater confirmed it was involved in the rescue operation. But we begin with this report from Sebastian Walker.
The United States is now assessing the damage to its embassy. It says all their employees have been accounted for, although a fatality has been reported.
A heated US presidential campaign, this one 40 years ago. The candidate, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, brother of the assassinated President John F. Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy had just won the California Democratic primary in early June 1968. Despite his impressive victory, Kennedy was still far from securing his party's nomination. As RFK told a reporter that night, we'll just have to struggle for it. But only moments after these pictures were captured in a Los Angeles hotel ballroom, Kennedy and 5 bystanders were shot as the senator passed through a narrow kitchen pantry just off the ballroom. The young presidential candidate died the next day. A 24-year-old Jordanian, Sirhan Sirhan, was arrested for the crime, having been captured in the pantry immediately after firing an Iver Johnson cadet revolver. Today, Sirhan is serving a life sentence for the assassination, but now 2 forensic experts say there's new evidence that casts serious doubt on whether Sirhan was guilty of the Kennedy murder.
Election officials in Zimbabwe have started a partial recount of ballots from the elections there 3 weeks ago.
Is there evidence a second shooter was involved in the 1968 assassination of Robert F. Kennedy? The new lawyer for the convicted gunman, Sirhan Sirhan, says yes, and he's seeking a new trial for his client. Attorney William Pepper says he's quite impressed by the findings of 2 forensic experts who've concluded that a previously unknown audio recording of the RFK shooting reveals a second gun firing shots at Kennedy shortly after the senator claimed victory in the California presidential primary. Well, the tape made by newspaper reporter Stanislaw Kuczynski was uncovered 4 years ago this month by one of our own CNN International senior news writer, Brad Johnson. Well, Brad then had the recording analysed by several people, including forensic audio expert Philip Van Praag.
Now, the Olympic Games aren't the only thing that appeals to Beijing's visitors. Tasty treats that challenge the Western palate are also drawing in the crowd. CNN's Larry Smith reports.
Gingy and other fairy tale characters exchange worried looks. The king is alone, pouring tea into 2 cups. He picks up the red potion bottle given to him by the fairy godmother. He frowns as he pours the contents into one of the cups. Pink smoke rises from the cup and forms a heart.
I must hold on before I too go totally mad. Shrek? Donkey? Too late. Gingy! Pinocchio! Get us out of here!
A blind mouse falls through the grate. The 3 little pigs blow up the grate to the cell with dynamite. Then hold Pinocchio's strings as he dives into the chamber. He hangs, unable to reach Shrek, Donkey, and Puss, who are chained to the wall. Gingy slides down.
Look out below! Quick! Tell a lie! What should I say? Anything, but quick!